Yes, you did.
Can you hear
No.
me?
I did not click
Oh, I
that.
can hear you guys.
I can hear you now.
Now you can hear us.
Let me turn that down. Hey.
Hi.
That sounded pathetic, didn't it? Hi. Sorry we're late.
Oh, no, you're good. Who are you guys talking to?
Scott Porter.
Oh, how's he?
He's great. He's great.
Wearing boxer briefs. Yeah.
He's wearing grease?
No, we asked him if he wore boxers or briefs.
Oh, boxes. Oh my god.
He wears boxer briefs. Yeah, baby.
But that was
Don, I
something
kept
you
it there on
thought
purpose.
Before you called him?
When they come in, I'll
Or
give it
just
to
trying
them.
to came up?
Just kind of came up.
I don't want to be in the picture. It's for them.
How did you get to that point?
What did he say about buying underwear?
He said he can't go to Walmart.
Walmart to buy underwear, and we were like, "Yeah, boxers or briefs, yeah." And he's like, "No boxer briefs." I'm like, "Yeah, baby, I can see it."
Kids camp.
Yeah.
How are you, Elizabeth?
More about him now.
That's a little bit too much info, right?
It's okay. So, did you guys just start your camp, or is it like, what have you done so far? You
This is
just
just day
started.
one.
Hmm?
This is just day one.
Oh, day one. Oh man. What are you doing today, aside from the calls?
I think we're going to Rest Haven.
Eating lunch.
Me too. No, that's cool. Awesome.
We'll probably go to Rest Haven.
Nice.
Where's that?
It's in
Do you guys have any questions for me?
How about you guys introduce yourselves first?
I'm Lizzie.
From Georgia.
James.
James.
Kiana.
Who are you?
Oh, Heavenly.
We call her Cruella DeVille. With the new hairdo.
Oh,
I'm Erica. I'm Callie.
nice. It's nice to meet you guys. Wait, how many people were here last year?
Last year we had 9. We have 3 more coming. They're just not here yet.
Brian said, "I'm Brian."
That's awesome. So, I think I could share my screen. I don't know if you guys would be interested in seeing like some of the gear that I had built while working on Paranormal Lockdown or not. You guys seen
Absolutely.
Paranormal Lockdown?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think I could do that. Hold on one second. Let's do that. It's always the exciting stuff,
I hear
at
you.
least for me.
I caught your lecture with Nick when you were in Salem last year.
Oh, did you?
I'm eager to see some of your equipment.
Here we go. Okay.
That's good equipment.
Can you see my screen?
Whoa.
Yep. Yep. Oh, there you go, guys.
Nice. Oh, I can still see you guys too. Awesome. So yeah, actually, a couple years ago, after we filmed Ghost of Shepherdstown, Nick actually said to me, I know your background's in engineering. I would love if you built like a piece of equipment for me. And at the time, he was going to Franklin Castle, and he wanted to communicate with the children's spirits at that location. So this was actually the very first device that I ever made. I thought it was kind of cool. It ended up being more creepy than cool because I used my voice for when you approach one of the corners, it'll say like yes, no, hello, or goodbye, which is why the letters are there. But I distorted my voice so when it actually plays, it sounds like no child would probably ever want to play with this thing, just so you know. It would sound more creepy than anything else. I don't know if you can hear the yes. Did you hear that? No? Hold on. Yes.
Wow.
Did you hear that? You did? Yeah, it's not.
Georgia, she can't see you shaking your head.
She can't hear that little rattle. No.
You hear it? Anyway, so if you approach one of the corners, you don't even have to touch the box. It actually breaks a field that it produces around each one of the corners, and then it would trigger the sound file. But that was the first thing that I had made, and from there I was kind of like hooked, for lack of a better word. And I ended up making a bunch of different pieces of equipment. I made one without sound, so it wasn't as creepy, and it would just light up on the corners. And then I also made something that detected changes in temperature and ground vibrations. And then in the bottom right corner, that's actually a sensing digital recorder. And I kind of thought of it as like an answering machine, so you could leave it in a room and come back later. And if there was a recording left on it, it would just be flashing. So if you came back into the room and it was blinking red, then you were like, oh, okay, I have a message to relay back. Which sounds kind of creepy, but it was a cool concept. If something passes over the box, or if there's a change in the environment, it would actually start recording right after. So that was like the beginning stages of what eventually became ghostly gadgets for me, which is what I kind of called them. Let me see. This is actually...
Callie's
I made
man.
this for Ghost of Shepherdstown. And that's actually a hamster ball. It's a perfect enclosure to put all the electronics in and suspend it inside. And so I could leave this anywhere at a location, and it would tell me if the ball moved, or if something tapped the ball, or if it was experiencing free fall at any time. Which I hoped, nothing was throwing it when no one was around. But then I also created this app, so that way I didn't have to be at the location. I could kind of be away, and if it moved, it would send me a notification saying the ball has moved.
Oh, that's cool.
So I always liked this one. It was fun.
Would you pair that up with like a trail cam or something? Or something that would take, that would trigger a picture or a video?
No, I didn't do that for this one. The electronics would have been too heavy inside. I wanted to keep everything really light. It actually uses an accelerometer, and that little sensor, you can see it right in the middle there. It's like this red square. On that, there's a tiny chip that will tell you if, it's moving at all in X, Y, or Z direction, or if it's being tapped or falling at any point. So then that would just send out a notification to me.
I want one. Where do I get one?
Yeah, I have to. At some point, I would love to make these available to people. There's only one in existence, and it's sitting in a box, which is probably not the best thing for it. But yeah, I definitely want to get to a place where I make these available for people, because I think it would just be enjoyable to have. I call this one Pandora's box, and this one detects motion.
I remember using that one too.
And it actually changes direction, so it will monitor the whole space. Okay. We'll move on. Alright, Paranormal Lockdown. Season 3, and when we were over filming in the UK, we did a lot of experimental things, which was kind of fun. Are you guys familiar with Geoport? That's the device Nick and Katrina always use and communicate with the majority of the time. Yeah. So one of the things I did is I actually hooked up a motion trigger to it. So, sounds a little twisted, but in the middle of the night when Nick would be sleeping, I would set this up, and
then take advantage of it.
Where'd she go?
Sorry, I was quieting Charlize. So in the middle of the night, I would set this up. So if something were to walk by him when he was sleeping, it would actually turn on Geoport, and Geo would start talking to him. And this happened a few times. And I felt really bad, but it was always fun to watch back the footage, because it'd be interesting. One time I remember we had this device set up, and it went on in the middle of the night. I was watching back the footage, and immediately said, hello, Nick, which I thought was pretty awesome. Unfortunately, not everything makes it, to the show. But that it was just cool to see that the device actually worked in that way. Let's see. The bottom left corner, that was just another vibration detector. So the LEDs inside would blink and flash when it felt vibrations. The top right corner, we experimented with mirrors and lasers. So this would turn in the environment and project against mirrors in 4 corners of the room. And that way it would act as like a motion sensor. But then we also had it going into quartz crystal because we were trying to experiment with seeing if we could change the environment at all. So that was an interesting thing to try. And then the bottom right, George Brown, who actually makes the Geoport, we collaborated and designed this light to sound box. So you see the laser beams across, that's actually what's transmitting sound. So if this audio device was running, you could just put your hand between the laser beams and it would just turn the sound off. And I think our theory was we kind of wanted to see if it helped at all to be using light and lasers to transmit sound to see if we could get better communication with whoever we were communicating with. So that was like the start of Paranormal Lockdown and what we would create. Let me see. These are some other devices that we would use. I'm going to get to the exciting ones. Hold on.
And we have a message from Greg O'Brien for you.
Oh, nice.
What's his message?
Oh, Sorge says hello.
Judge.
Oh, Judge.
The judge says hello.
The judge says hello.
Hi, Judge. Oh, wait. Greg O'Brien says the judge says hello.
Yes.
From Fort Mifflin.
From Fort Mifflin.
The judge is his friend, not mine.
I know, but he said the judge says hi.
Yeah. You
Isn't
can keep the judge over there.
isn't Greg the greatest though?
Did you hear that,
Yeah,
Greg?
no, fantastic. He was so great that day I met him at Fort Mifflin.
We were supposed to go down.
Oh man, the judge.
Yeah, I was supposed to come down and be with you guys, but I couldn't make it.
Over in the UK, we actually investigated a bar there. So I rigged up a pint glass so that if something touched it, it would actually let us know. Wait, hold on. I also did this at Jim Beam Distillery. This one's prettier. We'll play this one. So if anything comes close to the glass or touches it, it'll just light up the different colors on the corners. This actually worked when Nick and Katrina used it in the episode, which was cool.
That's cool.
Very cool.
I've never seen that.
We want one of those. Can we have one?
Those are actually something else. Is I don't know if you guys know Paranologies. They sell a lot of equipment and things like, hold on, like the Periscope 360, I think is a more common one that people know about. Anyways, we're thinking about collaborating and creating like small kits. So this could be an example of something that you guys could easily create. I think there's maybe like 5 components for this circuit to even work.
Wouldn't that be fun,
But
kids?
it's very simple to put together.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, in the future, I definitely want to have like small kits that people can take and just create by themselves.
That'd be your
These
next
things.
year's gift. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah. Let me see.
She can come to
Oh,
camp and show them how to.
Yeah, you could come to camp and show the kids how to do it, Elizabeth.
what happened?
You could come to camp and show them how to do it.
I would love to do that.
Yes, see? You got
Arts and
that.
crafts.
I got that on video.
She can bring her daughter.
No. That would be actually much easier than trying to sell a kit, and I could just bring kits to you guys and we could take a day and build something together.
Oh my God.
That would be
Yeah.
That would be so awesome.
This would be more
So many
fun.
kids are looking at us like, yes,
These
yes.
kids are like, oh my God.
yes.
Okay, next year,
I would
Elizabeth.
also find like very interesting enclosures, like a coffee cup. I actually made this one out of. This would detect sound of above a certain threshold. They didn't want to use this in lockdown, but I was like, why? We were out of jail at the time. I was like, why? The spirits might want like some coffee, and maybe.
Maybe the guardian wanted some coffee and donuts.
So I was like, oh. But I just melted the switch on the side and put all the electronics inside.
We're
It'd
booking
be
you.
really easy to come for a day, and we
We're
can make
booking
all
her for
kinds
next
of weird things, and then they'd be unique. No one else would have them.
There you go.
That's pretty cool.
We're booking you for next year, Elizabeth. You're coming here.
Yes, I'll definitely come. Because you guys are mostly in. Where are you doing it this year?
Pennsylvania.
Oh, you guys are so close. I'm in Virginia, so it's not that far.
We
Oh,
meet you halfway, we're willing.
yeah, we'll meet you halfway.
Okay, so Bobby Mackey's, Nick went, he's been there about 7 times now, but he went back for an episode in Paranormal Lockdown, and this thing looks crazy, but there's a device called the God Helmet. Essentially, it sends signals to your brain, and it kind of induces spiritual experiences. So when it showed up, it was just a Velcro pieces with sensors and a baseball hat. And I kind of wanted to make it look like an actual helmet. So I took a motorcycle helmet and I drilled holes in it to place the sensors inside. And this is what Nick wore in the episode. And he definitely,
I remember that one.
he definitely kind of contacted something and saw some weird stuff. So in the episode, he was describing what he saw.
Who's that guy, Callie?
And what's crazy is he's blindfolded, right? And he's talking and describing and feeling something in the room with him. And then I put sensors in the railing in front of him that were motion sensors. And they actually went off at the same time that he was sensing something coming into the room,
That's Callie dancing.
which you'll see in a minute. I know you guys probably can hear it, but... So he's saying right now he sees a figure behind the wall, the teeth are sharp, the face is drooping and trying to get through the wood to come through the wall. And then right as he's experiencing it, the lights went off.
Oh, wow.
I remember that episode.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then the last thing that was really fun for me was I put him in this
You tortured the
sensory
poor guy.
kind of deprivation camp. This is kind of what it was, in the basement of the Monroe house. And I wanted him to kind of experience what it felt like to not be able to hear or see and feel weightlessness. I know a lot of people, there's friends of mine that do floating, as they call it, which you go to a place and they have these tanks where you can experience, you know, kind of just a senseless space, and they've had really interesting experiences from that. So I decided to do that inside a haunted location. I found this company that they sent us a tent, and we had to put, I think it was 850 pounds of salt to float Nick's body inside the tent. And so he slept in this,
Calm
and
down,
he had
calm
this
down.
crazy experience inside the tent.
Yep, I remember.
Where he felt himself kind of floating out of his body, out to the front of the house, kind of going up the stairs, out the front of the house, which is what he's talking about, and to the front yard.
Breathe, Callie.
So this was his experience, and they kind of reenacted that in the episode. But what was crazy is they brought out a ground-penetrating radar guy to the location after his experience, and they actually found more bones under the ground, and the guy said there was probably a couple caskets under the ground there on the property.
Wow.
So that was also a really cool thing to just kind of validate the fact that he had this experience and that it led him to, you know, more evidence on the property. Because the first time they went there, they found bones in the basement. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
It's kind of like a good brief of some of the things we've created for the show. I'm going to unshare. Hold on.
There she is. Ask her a question, Callie.
What?
Her and Nick are on the show.
Are they, if they're doing a show together?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Callie.
So,
So,
he's like my husband. Are you and Nick like doing any projects together, like in the future?
Yeah, we've been working on a bunch of projects. We're in post-production for a few different things. We filmed the Nick Groff Tour live stuff for VidiSpace. Are any of you familiar with VidiSpace?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Do any of you have VidiSpace?
Yes.
Yes.
Who does? Oh, you do?
I do.
Okay, well, everyone today, and since you already have it, I want to provide all of you with a free subscription for the next year. So if you already have it, I will just credit you for the next year. and you guys can send me your emails. I guess Jody can afterwards, just so I can send you links so you guys get access. But essentially, Nick and I started this online streaming platform, and we've been creating all kinds of paranormal content for it, and also acquiring a lot of content as well. And we've just been building, and it's been really fantastic. But a lot of the stuff that Nick and I have been working on, we're going to be putting on VidiSpace in the future. And there's a lot of shows that we're finishing up now that we'll be able to release in the next couple months. Yeah.
Well, if you come next year, you have to bring Nick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Callie will have to wear a Depends. You never saw the video of Nick calling her last year, did you? I'll have to send it to you.
She like almost died.
No, Mike King had Nick call her and say hi to her.
That's awesome.
It was hilarious.
I had a heart attack.
Wait, when was that?
Last year we were at the Haldeman.
June.
Yeah,
In June.
last year.
Probably like this time.
He was on set somewhere.
Yeah, Nick was on set
Or on
somewhere.
location somewhere.
On location, and
Last year.
Mike called him, and
Last
he,
June we were in the UK.
yeah, wherever he was at the end of the month, he called Callie,
Oh,
and
that's awesome. That's right. Well, do you guys have any questions?
you have time for one more question, guys, so give her a question. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
I was listening.
Huh?
Don't be shy, guys.
Or Jay, go ahead.
Where did you go in your first investigation, and how has your techniques changed?
Oh. Okay. First investigation was a residential case with my team, Maryland Paranormal Research. This is like before Ghost of Shepherdstown. And I really didn't know what to expect. I've had experiences my whole life since I was a kid, particularly in the house that I grew up in. And I think part of me was always really skeptical of my experiences, because I wanted to believe that they were happening, but at the same time, it was hard to not think sometimes that I just wasn't crazy. So I found this team locally, and it was the very first investigation that I was going on. I remember walking into the house and immediately hearing like this little boy like talking upstairs and running around. And I went into the kitchen and I said hi to my team, because I had only talked to them on the phone since then. It was the first time we were meeting. And then I said hi to the owner of the house. And I just asked because I was confused. I thought they were very adamant about the fact that they weren't going to have small children in the house when we were investigating that night. So I said, I heard a little boy upstairs. Are you guys leaving the house while we investigate? Because I was just curious. And she's like, oh no, that's Billy. He's one of the resident ghosts here. And in that moment, I was just like, it was the best validation for me, because I felt like, okay, I'm not crazy anymore. I'm genuinely having these experiences. And it was like the best first investigation I probably could have asked for. Some of the EVPs to this day that I captured that first night totally trump anything I've caught since then. In terms of how things have changed, I think I'm I am so much more accepting of the experience. At first, that first night, I was very nervous and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to happen or how it would make me feel. I think I've become more comfortable in myself and my own skin through investigating, because I know that I don't think we can yet describe exactly what it is sometimes that we're experiencing, but we can't say that we're not all experiencing something, you know?
Well, we thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. It was great talking to you, and we definitely have to set up a time to build something great. You guys can all take it with you.